Yeah, dog. What's up, guys? Back at it again with another crypto DeFi roundtable with the homies, man. Guys, for me, it's been a minute. I have not been that great on YouTube. Your boy took a little bit of hiatus, but we're back. We're on that grind. So I want to bring up the panel. First and foremost, what do you call him? The Asian Brad Pitt. What is up to the homie RJ?
What's good, brother? How are you, man?
Hey, man, doing good, man. How's life?
Life is good, brother. Can't complain.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I started doing the cream, man. Looks like it's working. Got some cream and some lotion. So a little stuff. I'm getting there, right? You gotta give me some props. I'm trying.
I like it. It's getting darker for sure.
It is. So next, now this is the guy with the hair, the best hair in the panel. Boom, Generation Crypto. What's up, bro?
How's it going, guys?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Awesome. Happy to have you. Next up, we're gonna have the Brooklyn Beast himself. Come on, my boy. What is up, sexy Adam Bergman?
Wolfpack. Yo, he said the Filipino Brad Pitt. Bro, he can't do that shit. Yeah.
The second artist started having kids, my God, a bunch of little Brad Pitts everywhere. Look at that. And last but not least, my anime brother. Shout out to Crypto Atlas. What's up,
Konnichiwa. Hajime mashite.
I have no idea. You lost me. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on there.
I don't know what's more funny.
Hair, but what's going on with you, Atlas? Everyone's doing the hair stuff now.
Yeah, I was like, everyone else is doing it, so I want to see if I could do it. I was kind of talking before. Remember how like I get this patchy thing going on here, and then not other areas. So I touch this, and it feels almost like a baby's bottom. So I'm really hoping that at some point that'll start getting a little bit better there, right?
Oh man, that's the kind of face you want. You want to feel a baby's bottom on your face. That's good.
Maybe I'll just let this grow out long enough, and I'll start looking like a wushu master, like Wing Chun, start.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, how's this? How about none of us is allowed to shave till your channel hits 100,000 subscribers?
Oh, dude,
I can't do that, bro. First and foremost, mine gets really trash looking. This starts to get really thick. It really does look like some form of.
He'll be the mushu. He'll be the mushu of the table.
Wow. It gets too crazy. I can't. I have to decline.
That's hilarious, man. So, guys, we have some very cool topics today. Talking about general crypto, talking about passive income, talking about specific DeFi in the trends we've seen for the better part of the last 7-8 months.
And talking about your mother. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, she's a trend too. You can make her viral. Yeah, we're gonna dive deep into that and more. So just kind of want to say hi to the guys. Kind of been a minute where we've all been together. Tim is not here. He might pop in a little later, but kind of want to just get a quick little update on everyone. So RJ, what is up? What you've been doing for the past, let's say, couple of weeks, and how have you been navigating the crypto space when it comes to us re-entering a bull run?
How have I been navigating? So I've been compounding. I've been buying the dips. I've been using what I currently have to buy more, right? The reason I say that is because I think every single one of us here has heard everyone say it. Oh, I wish I got in when it was cheaper. I wish I got in when it was cheaper every single time. Guys, it's cheap right now. Where's everyone at? This is why I always preach this all the time in my channel, that investing is a psychological sport, guys. I say this all the time. People think that it's easy to say, oh, buy the dip. I wish it was cheaper. Well, when it's cheaper, where's everyone at? Everyone's scared, right? And so how do I navigate that? Yeah, it's the simplest compass I've been using. Warren Buffett says it: be greedy when others are fearful. When there's a lot of fear in the market, when there's a lot of blood in the market, I succumb to human emotions as well, but I still follow that compass. So when there's fear, I just use it and I buy more. I buy more nodes. I buy more things that I believe in. I stack more nodes. I stack more of everything. So that's what I've been doing. And eventually when that inevitable market comes and that inevitable bull run comes, it'll be good.
Awesome. And that sounds like a great strategy. So going over the strategy when it comes to generation, we're re-entering a bull run. We see Zilliqa the last 5 days, 150%. My God, am I salty? I don't have any Zilliqa. I wish I did. How are you navigating the entering of the bull run? We see things popping off. Bitcoin broke 47,000. Are you looking at any specific projects to buy, or do you have kind of similar to RJ when it comes to compounding and building your current positions?
So obviously building my current positions, compounding any projects that allow any sort of compounding interest, like we talked about before with Seifu, with Safe Moon. I mean, you can't compound with Safe Moon, but just hitting those reflections with all the node projects that I'm involved with. You got Drip, you can Hydrate, these other projects that I'm involved with that have some level of compounding involved. Obviously, you want to do that, but it's also just enjoying the ride, right? Like I've got other blue chip projects like VeChain that was up 50% over the last week. And that one actually pays out in VThor. So you're actually getting those compounded that way, and you can sell those VThor to buy more VeChain and continue that process over again. So there's a lot of opportunity to make on both the sells and the buys when it comes to green and red markets, right? So like RG was saying, when the market's up, everyone wants to buy, everyone wants to get in and enter in when it's going up. But when it's going down, all of a sudden everyone has that psychological game. They want to sell out, exit positions. They have a hard time staying in or buying in. So like he said, it's that mental game of being able to realize when the prices are going up and your numbers are going up, that's actually when you're supposed to be looking to having an exit position, or at least setting yourself up so that you can take positions in other projects that are going to be a little bit more stable. And then on the way down, people like to sell and vacate their bags because they're afraid of where the floor is going to be, when in reality that's the position that you should be taking to put yourself in a better position, dollar cost average in, and get yourself into a better position that maybe you bought into previously. So there's always money to be made, whether it's going up or whether it's going down, but at the end of the day, the money's made when the market moves.
For sure. I definitely do agree with that. Heading over to Adam now. So Adam, your strategy when it comes to, kind of give us what you've actually been doing. So for the past bearish period of the last, 4 or 5 months, have you been accumulating kind of on the sidelines?
Yeah.
And now that we're entering a bull run, what are you doing moving forward?
So I've been super transparent with this. I blew my load at the end of last year. Between the stock market and crypto, I borrowed some leverage. I did borrow some leverage at the end to cover all my expenses. I put it out in my videos that I said that, you can't be backed up into a corner, so you always have enough money. And I was down like 1.5 million in the last like 4 or 5 months. And thank God over the last month, I started reconsolidating a lot of my plays, and, a good 6 figures came back. But all I had money to do was to buy some options. I don't know if anybody knows options in stocks. It's you're buying for in the future. So I'm buying something called leaps, which is the most you possibly could buy, and I'm only buying it at 30 cents on the dollar. Whatever, it's a little more complicated. So I've been doing that. I literally sold out all my positions in a lot of blue chip cryptos. I kept a couple, but I essentially doubled my position in Algorand. And I've been doing a lot of passive plays on the Algorand blockchain. Like me, and shout out to the Wolfpack. We've literally been buying real estate with Algorand, and we're literally collecting rent for passive income on it. So that's what I've been doing, just consolidating the projects that I don't like, taking a lot of tax loss deductions. I mean, I was harvesting, I think I harvest like, I don't know, well into the 6 figures of tax losses. So when I'm going to make this next bull run, when I'm going to be up $1 million, $2 million, I'm going to write it all off on the taxes that I've been losing.
Man, those are some heavy numbers, but I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing when it comes to your personal portfolio. Moving over to Crypto Atlas. So same question for you, spun a different way. Heading into the new bull run, what are you looking to buy? And do you think this is going to be an extended bull run, or is it just going to be like a flash run to where, boom, fast pop, and then just all the way down to the bottom?
Well, as far as us calling this a bull run, we're getting several days in a row at least showing signs that it's definitely looking like we're doing much better. And in regards to what really helped contribute to this recent drop was the whole attack on Russia on Ukraine. And now we're in a position where things feel like negotiations are starting to open up a little bit more. Whether or not that fully pans out or not, we are at least hearing that in the news. And that's helping kind of calm some people down and potentially even opening up that possibility that we could see that sort of come to a resolution. And if that does come to a resolution, I think that's almost like green go, right? Everyone can go ahead and feel a lot more relaxed with where they're putting their money. So as far as for me personally goes, I would say that I'm primarily looking right now at node projects as well as rebasing. So the whole yield projects that give you these high amounts. There's several projects that we're seeing forks of from Titano, and there's Seifu, and there's forks of Seifu, and we're seeing more projects kind of taking that approach. The whole auto compounding element really does seem to be appealing to a lot of people. I do still see a lot of value with node-based projects. And as I talk with a lot of these projects, they're coming up with some pretty creative ways of how they handle their design system to kind of combat against that hyperinflationary model that you typically run into when you deal with nodes as a service, the NAS, the whole premise behind that. And when you incorporate developing other forms of utility on top of just their internal design system, you very well could have a formula for success. So I think it's exciting seeing how that industry space continues to evolve and to see which ones actually find a way to be able to make it work. And I think there's a lot of signs pointing that they can very well have that happen. So my investments, I've been passive income, very heavy, blue chips and everything else like that. I'm not putting money in those right now because I think that the opportunity of what's hot is these kinds of markets. So I'm more willing to take those risks, but I'm younger. I can take those kinds of risks.
Awesome. Perfect. And that's actually a great segue into our another topic, which is going to be DeFi in general. Now we see DeFi is trying to find its own, it's trying to find what it wants to be, because we've seen quite a few trends, and they're actually what I consider flash trends. We saw the whole boom in reflection tokens. Then we saw the boom of, nodes. We saw the boom of DAOs. We saw the boom of tomb forks. Now we're kind of getting out of the whole node as a service and going into the auto staking, which goes into your Titanos, your Sifus. So I do want to ask each and every one of you, starting with RJ again, when it comes to these different trends, reflection tokens, nodes, DAOs, what was your favorite trend? And what is your most bullish project out of the trend that you're going to pick when it comes to being your favorite?
Sure, man. Am I mute? Oh, okay. Before I answer that, how are you navigating this markets, man? I know you've been on hiatus.
Oh yeah, I haven't even given my answer as well. So
Good fucking question.
Yeah. I've actually been quite away when it comes to crypto news. I've just been in my wallet, logging every day, compounding my drip garden, compounding my nodes, Project X, building my strong tokens and trying to understand if I should compound or take profits there. Strong does have a lot of cool stuff going on. So I do want more nodes, but I'm also in a position now where I actually wouldn't mind taking a large position in some blue chip tokens, because we see if the bull run is going to go up, we know Ethereum Bitcoin is going to bring up quite a few other tokens with it. And I want to increase positions that I already have to make sure I have more gains when it comes to those pumps. So I'm kind of on the fence now that we're entering a bull run. Do I continue compounding, or do I take profits to put somewhere else, be happy with these bags, and then continue the compounding later on? Still back and forth, but thus far, just compounding overall. Haven't bought anything new. I've played with the idea of buying Sifu. There's a token called Overpowered, which that's another auto staking token. But I haven't added anything new to my position for the last couple of weeks. But yeah, it's kind of just what I'm up to. So going over you now.
Cool. Yeah. No, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to that, right? I mean, the way I talk to my friends about it here, the way I've been handling it is I handle each project as its own. Before, I wanted to roll money into more drip. I wanted to use drip to roll into strong. I wanted to roll, but now I kind of just treat it separately, right? I compound strong with strong. I compound Seifu with Seifu. I just compound drip within drip, and I just treat it separately. I have loaded up a lot in Bitcoin when it was in its 30s and low 40s. Just kept dollar cost averaging in. So I'm in a pretty good position in Bitcoin. I feel pretty strong about that. But in regards to the metas, yeah, I mean, as everyone knows here, I was in Dogecoin, then SafeMoon, then I found Strong Block in November. Completely changed my outlook on what crypto and DeFi is. Started loading up on Strong Block at the same time. We found out DAOs were really hot back then, right? I got into some Time Wonderland, which we all know got crazy in Time Wonderland. I was doing the whole, I would borrow MIM tokens and then I would leverage it and then I'd borrow MIM tokens. I would just keep cycling that at least 5-6 times. Thankfully, I wasn't hurt too bad. I was able to cash out of that before all that stuff with Sifu had hit. But now, as we see, like Atlas was talking about, right, the meta is kind of shifting from nodes and DAOs to the auto staking, like your Titanios, your Libero, your Seifu. We're seeing an insane amount of forks on that because I saw Atlas cover a project on, was it Yieldzilla, Atlas? Yeah, Yieldzilla. And we got Sphere, we got RingFi. There's so many forks right now going on with the auto staking that I feel like that is the new meta. And so this is an interesting thing because I did an AMA with Stonepipes. He's one of the Twitter influencers. And we noticed that being in DeFi, if you are a DeFi investor, right, like we are, you kind of have to just roll with whatever the meta is. You got to get in, you got to do your due diligence, find the projects that are good, find the ones that have good leaders, good white papers, invest in it quick. And as you guys know, early in is so important when you're trying to be a DeFi investor. So as of right now, the biggest project I'm in is absolutely Seifu. Super bullish on that. I'm also really looking forward to Chronos nodes. I'm sure you guys, Moonboy, I know you were looking in Chronos nodes. They got some really crazy stuff going on. They are a second mover in the Chronos network, second to Chronodes, who is actually kind of bleeding right now, but they're still trying to stay afloat. But Chronos nodes is looking to do some crazy things right now. So I'm sure we'll touch on that a little later, but that is my answer.
Awesome. I definitely agree with you. And I am very excited for Chronos nodes. Probably going to have a video about that maybe in the coming week. I know their launch is advertised either end of month or early April. So definitely want to touch a little bit on that as well. So moving on to generation. So when it comes to the trends in DeFi specifically, reflection tokens, DAOs, nodes, auto staking, out of these trends, which one was your favorite and which project within those trends is also your favorite?
That's a good question. So funny enough, when it comes to these trends, what I've kind of realized is there's always something new that people see that's shiny that they want to all chase. And then there's developers who are going to see that new motivation and excitement around a project. And so they're going to go out and build a bunch of projects with similar ideas or concepts to attract new buyers. And because people miss the train on project, whatever, they want to hop in on this next one that's supposed to be the next big thing in that specific genre. Like you mentioned before, we had reflection tokens. I feel like SafeMoon, in a lot of ways, although it wasn't the first, it was like the one that really exploded. And then there was all these copycats after, or similar projects that wanted a taste of some of what SafeMoon was getting. And so they all made their own reflection tokens. And then we moved into nodes, and nodes were big for a while. And so Strong was kind of the pack leader on that one. And there's been several others that have kind of tried to follow that same trend. And people wanted to hop in because they may have felt like they missed out on Strong. And so they want to hop into all these other copycats. And that was the same with DAOs. It's the same thing like we're talking about now with the auto staking features. There's going to always be these other pop-up projects. They're going to want to copy that trend, and people are going to want to hop on board. What I've realized is there's two types of projects in these fields, in any one of these categories. There's the ones that are on the hype train. That's all they care about. They're just there to be the copycat of everyone else, and they just want everyone else to buy them because you missed out on the other project. And then the other type is the people who take the concept that's new, and they're like, hey, this is a cool concept. What can we actually do to make this a real world utility? What's going to make this work in the long run? What's going to be something that we can bring that's going to bring actual change into the real world? And those projects ends up being the ones that stick around. They're usually the ones that are not as sexy. They're usually the ones that don't promise the craziest returns, but they're the ones that a year from now, they're still around. They're still kicking. They're still innovating. They're still doing their thing. So the thing I've learned is, to me, it doesn't matter what the current trend is. Obviously, if you want to play the trend game, you got to get in early on whatever the trend is. And you got to be on there day one, day two, buying into those, and then knowing when to take your exit position. Because the hard part is a lot of people want to hold that with diamond hands until the project tanks and then ends up for naught. So being able to know when to enter and when to exit on the trends, if you want to play that game, it's kind of like gambling. You can do that. But in my personal opinion, it's finding what the trend is and then finding the serious projects with utility and sticking with those teams, because there's still great reflection projects out there that are still doing good things, even though that trend is, for the most part, kind of died out or it's not as exciting. There's still going to be node projects that are, although that the excitement's kind of moving away from nodes, they're going to be around. They're still innovating. They're still going to be doing cool stuff. It just may not be the current hype with all these other projects copying that same concept. So my short answer is every single one of these has real world, really good projects in them. It's just a matter of finding the ones that are going to bring real world utility and not just a hype.
And what would you say is your favorite project within one of these trends?
within any one of these trends.
Yep.
I would say right now it's the drip ecosystem, for sure. I like what they're doing with that and the things that they've got moving forward with for Shark coming out with the new UI, all the partnerships that they have coming out here in the near future. I would say that for, I guess it's not an auto staking feature, and it's not exactly a node project either, so I don't know what you would classify that as. But I would say that's probably one of my favorites. Obviously, I'm big into nodes as well, so I've got a few node projects I like too.
I feel like drip is its own thing. I'm actually surprised we don't see more drip forks. We have one drip fork, which is doing very, very well. And I think we might even have a section of DeFi to where drip does get forked more, and that just takes off and becomes a whole new trend. Perhaps after auto staking, if that does die down, maybe it'll succeed. We don't know. But going on to Adam, the very same question. Out of these trends, reflection tokens, with your safe moons, nodes, we're talking about DAOs, Olympus DAO, auto staking now with the Safus. What is your opinion overall when it comes to the DeFi trends? And within these trends, do you have a specific project that you like, that you're maybe working on to compound, build a position in? What are your thoughts?
I recently got a chance to get into DeFi more, like true DeFi. I'm not talking about like a token, like deep dive into DeFi, different blockchains, and really get to use it. So I knew a lot about blockchains, but I never through the CeFi way, like Coinbase. So I knew the technology, but now I get to play with it. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. Which blockchain has the most robust ecosystem for DeFi? What's building the best? What has the actual governance? Where you can actually control it as a community. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I agree with what Generation Crypto says, that there's a lot of, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think there's a lot of fads or something that's like super popular and then it goes away. But within those sectors, there's always going to be a winner at the end. So in the Reflections token, for example, I'm looking for the project that can get away from Reflections in the future, that can sustain its own ecosystem. One project that I'm looking at right now, or that I'm invested in, of course, is Affinity. It's no secret. I talk about them a lot. And with their platform, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, it's me speaking, not them. But I do believe with their platform, if it is adopted, this is how they're going to reduce the reflections, because at the end of the day, reflections is an inhibitor for volume. It inhibits volume. That's a fact. I don't care what nobody says. It's just by nature. And in terms of the passive plays and the plays, I know you guys are more into it than I am. I only really got into Drip. I like the project. I still do, because no matter what, I know it's been getting destroyed. I'm still getting my 1%. Like I'm still getting my money every single day. I'm waiting until it goes down. Maybe if it goes down to like $25 or something, I'm probably going to buy back into it. But again, I only hold a very small percentage of my portfolio in that. And just recently, I'm just getting back into blue chips like I always was, and my stocks. And, I kind of lost my way a little bit with solid investing. For me, solid investing.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
I just wanted to chime in. If I was going to say the reflection tokens, I would agree. Affinity's probably top dog for me right now with what they're doing. I love what they're doing with Adapt and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to stay on you for one more question, Adam. Then I'm going to go over to Crypto Atlas. So I see you've been talking a lot about Algorand, quite a bit. And I see all your videos popping up about Algorand. Give me your opinion about where does Algorand fit within DeFi, and what are they doing to perhaps revolutionize or build more infrastructure within the DeFi space?
Sure. So Algorand has something called pure proof of stake, which means that anybody that holds any Algorand is automatically a staker. That brings up the security protocol to 100% secure. Because when you have stakers and you have 21 stakers, it's not secure because you know who's staking it. And there's a big X on somebody's target. With Algorand, you don't have that. Algorand has governance. Every 3 months, literally the community all together gets to vote on what happens next. Right? Every single vote. So this last vote, they voted if they want the Algorand Foundation to bring things to a vote, or they want a DAO to be brought to a vote, which then allows the community to even bring more community into it. I've learned something, that BSC is bullshit. And the more I see it, it's more bullshit. 99%. I've said this all the time. Nothing changed. Everybody building tokens and this and that. Algorand, people building worlds. Straight up worlds. Fixing real life CeFi on DeFi. On top of that, the fees are less than a penny. I mean, it's 0.0001 Algorand. It's nothing. Speed, it hits the blockchain in 4.5 seconds. I'm sorry. And transaction speed, it matches Visa and MasterCard, and they're about to do an upgrade right now. I also realized that when I went into a couple of their spaces, these guys are fucking smart. Really smart. Really, really smart. So they're literally allowing you to make the easiest possible build. And now they have a language. They created their own language, one of the developers. It's called Reach, that can be applied to any of the blockchains, actually. And essentially, you code inside of the language, and then that language attaches to the blockchain that you need it to be. And it's an easier language than even Solidity. And the reason they did this is to allow more and more people to build. But on top of that, and listen to what I'm telling you right now, they have a $250 million fund for developers. $250 million fund for developers to come and develop on their platform. I am buying real estate. I am buying rights to people's music on this. And I'm a novice in DeFi. Bro, you can't get any better than that. And their blockchain never went down. It is the most secure blockchain. Well, not one of the most secure. Solana went down 3 times. I'm just giving you an example. 3 times. And it went back up in 6 hours. How is it possible that a decentralized blockchain goes back up in 6 hours? Because it's the billionaire's blockchain. And it's controlled by a small select group of people. Algorand don't got that bullshit.
Man, you just sold me an Algorand. I don't have a bag, but I might have a bag after the episode here. So those are some great facts. Those are very, very incredible facts.
Wanted to say one other thing. You never hear me do price predictions. Never. You guys always, I'm always conservative. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe Algorand is going to surpass Ethereum as the community. And I see Algorand 50 to 100x. And I never do price predictions. And the more I use it, the better it is. And if you go into an Algorand space, the main developers, listen to what I just said, the main developers are literally talking to you and holding your hand through this. Like really, you speak to me? Like, it's crazy. Very, very strong. And Algorand is the shit. And I would love to show you more. Not financial advice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
Ethereum killer.
That's definitely something you want when it comes to project, that transparency, people who are the developers, but they're willing to talk to the community and not just, hide behind certain documents or kind of hint stuff without any additional clarity of what they even mean. So definitely some good facts here, and it definitely made me a bit more bullish when it comes to Algorand. I was already bullish, but I wasn't on board enough to pick up a bag, but I really want to hear those facts. So those are some incredible facts there. Moving on to Atlas. So Atlas, very same question for you when it comes to the overall trends of DeFi for the better part of the last 8 months. As previously stated, reflection tokens, Node, DAOs. Now we're going into auto staking. Maybe Drip will one day be forked, and we're going to see a Drip trend. When it comes to these trends, what are your thoughts, and what are the best plays perhaps someone can make money? We know, with the whole auto staking, they have tax systems that's going to help them to not have the same issues that DAOs did. DAOs, they minted tokens and the supply went up, and that devalued the currency. When it comes to auto staking, there's actually burning mechanics in there. So what is your favorite overall trend, and what specific project within that trend that you like is your most bullish?
I like projects that are developing ways to help fight selling pressure. And lots of projects have been coming up with creative ways to tackle that. Bonds. I'm seeing the usage of the word bonds more frequently with projects, the way that they develop their treasuries. I also find it interesting how some projects take part of their treasury assets, or if they have it in another wallet, but just in general, they take a community vote. And then from the community vote, they say, look, we got several projects here that we're presenting to you of other people's projects, or stable coin, like we could have it invested into this or a blue chip or something, right? And then when the community votes on that, the funds that the project itself had been accruing, they go and purchase those assets and then essentially distribute the rewards to all of the holders that are owning that actual token or that node project or whatever. I'm primarily seeing this being associated with node projects. And by doing so, you have projects that are new. You've got ones that are a little bit more established. But what is the general consensus from the community, right? And if you can leverage your own community by saying, hey, look, we're doing so well right now that we want to be able to give more back to you guys. So what is it you guys are interested in? And just sort of bringing these communities together, unifying DeFi, which is a common message we're seeing much more so, I'd say, over the course of the last month to 2 months. But prior to that, we've had a lot of insecurities from people, investor side, influencers side, and you see all that stuff on social media. And I think it's really important that we remember that when you're dealing with money, money flows from one hand to another, right? Someone is spending it on something, a product, a service, they're holding on to it, but objectively, you have a goal at one point to use it for some purpose. And a project that exists here could communicate and have an interaction with another project here, flowing that form of money, creating utility between them. And we're seeing more where you have these different avenues in the cryptocurrency space that will target and tackle something that we already deal with fiat, but now they're making a crypto version of that. And then they're trying to identify saying, well, with the fiat version, yeah, these are the pros, these are the cons. How can we address these cons to improve that model and continue to the evolutionary trend of how e-commerce just kind of needs to flow, right? Especially if we want worldwide adoption, we want people to accept these kinds of ideas, because let's be real, a credit score, that's kind of an archaic mentality of where we're at now in today's day and age. If you have things you can put up as collateral, there's other avenues you can go through. I think all of that is very exciting. I know this is kind of elaborated answer on your question. I think I answered it. Did I miss part of your question?
Yeah, you hit the first part. The second part was what project is your favorite within all the trends that we've experienced?
Okay. My favorite project at the moment is Alpha Nodes. And the short answer why is that they're transitioning their branding from Alpha Nodes to Alpha Shares. As it is right now, it is a reflectionary token only to pull in new users, to have some sort of reward design system so that people can be introduced to what it is that they're doing. They are frequently putting out new articles. They're building out an NFT marketplace. So if you think of OpenSea, for example, Bored Ape Yachts Club, you guys have heard of a lot of these big name NFTs. And where do you hear them typically being sold through? You hear them through OpenSea, right? Now, can you imagine if OpenSea allowed you to have NFTs that were not just with Ethereum, but also with the Binance Smart Chain and, Avalanche and all these other ones, and you add in cross-chain functionality to it, you add in essentially the Alpha Shares would be if you have one of those 10,000 NFTs, you have a partial ownership of the platform. I mean, really think about that. When a trade takes place on OpenSea for a Bored Ape Yacht Club, whatever, that transaction fee that takes place, who makes the money off of that? Is it one of us? No. What's going on is OpenSea is getting that cut. But when we're dealing with DeFi, a lot of people like the idea of having a partial ownership of whatever it is that's going on. So what they're doing is they're leveraging DeFi and allowing us as the individuals to buy an NFT and essentially be a stakeholder. So whenever there is a trade that goes on with their marketplace, when it goes live, you get a percentage cut. And again, think of a marketplace like OpenSea, except not just Ethereum. And it has cross-chain mechanics that will be built out. So it's not with where they're at right now, it's where they're going. And as I follow the project, I think that this is going to be potentially something that is absolutely groundbreaking. And it could overtake projects like OpenSea. And if you even tapped into 10% of the daily trading volume of OpenSea, but you had a percentage cut of earnings from that, it's looking like a very lucrative investment. And so I am keeping an eye on that one for sure. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah, definitely, guys. We're just here giving our opinion when it comes to specific topics and projects. Nothing here is definitive to tell you go and buy this. If you want to research whatever we bring up, that's completely up to you. Adam, go ahead.
I want to give a big shout out to Legion. He just got hired by Glow Token. Shout out to him, man. Guy left his job and started a career in cryptocurrency. You gotta respect it, man. And shout out to Greek Guru. Keep putting out those videos, man. I respect anybody that grabs life by the balls and gets what they need. Like, change your life, pivot, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, that's it. Shout out to Legion. Thank you, guys. Sorry.
Awesome, man. Yeah, big shout out to Legion, man. Massive steps there. Nice little segue into our next topic as well. So I want to kind of ask you guys specifically when it comes to your YouTube channels, and how has your content changed with the current trends and change in crypto? We see when it comes to, let's say, viewership, the hot trend was reflection tokens, and any video upload when it comes to reflection token relatively did pretty good. We see the trend going down, thus the viewership going down. But how are you transforming your channel to keep the growth as well as keep your content relevant? I want to go to Adam first. I'm going to kind of mix it up. So how are you changing your content to kind of keep yourself relevant and keep yourself going with the current trends in crypto?
Again, I just I a little bit fell off, so I got to go back to my roots and concentrate on what I need to do. So first thing I did is separate my channels. I did one channel for this is just crypto. The other channel I did is for traditional finance like stocks and real estate, because I was noticing that they weren't doing good, and I'm banging out 6 videos a day and it's not happening what it should be. That's one. For this channel, I decided to concentrate on DeFi in general, not a specific project, DeFi, and literally showing people how to use DeFi. With that, I still do talk about other projects. I still like reflection tokens. I still like passive income plays. I also like blue chips. I just did it a little bit more well-rounded right now, and yeah, and that's it.
Okay, nice. Go to a generation. So new trends, new topics, new hype. People are interested in different things. How have you kept your content relevant with the current trends in crypto? What is popular? What's booming? Are you trying to adapt and change as crypto evolves? Or what is your current way of how you're handling your content with your channel?
As a content creator on YouTube, you have to adapt to everything that's going on, right? And when you're a content creator on YouTube for crypto, you've got to adapt even more because of the way the market moves. And on top of that, as a content creator, you've got to move not only with that market and what's popular, but also how things work as a content creator. So personally, I'm going to kind of like Adam said, going back to my roots, I want to do project reviews for different projects, as everyone's always wanting to find new and interesting things and get a bit of a better understanding of how those projects work. So I want to get back to building that content like I have historically on my channel. But outside of that, I think I do want to start building, and this wouldn't be the focus, obviously, but it would be integrated with my stuff that I actually started my channel on, is a lot more evergreen stuff. There's so many people that are going to come into DeFi or crypto, and the questions that people are asking are almost always the same. Whether you came in 10 years ago or you're coming in today, it's what is a blockchain? What is it? How does that work? What's the liquidity pool? How does that work? What is staking? What are all these different things that people keep talking about? This language that we use that's just standard practice for us as investors, that to the rest of the world, they have no idea. It's like we're speaking an alien language to them. So introducing that language to people and building content that's going to be easily consumable and understandable for people who are new to the space, I think is extremely important, because it'll introduce them to your content, and then they learn as a beginner. So they'll stick around with you on your journey as you get introduced to new projects and as you build out your channel and your content that way. So it's a segue to bringing not only new people that have never heard of your channel, but also new people into crypto. And then hopefully they can stick around and engage with my other content. So evergreen stuff is my big thing. I want to get back to project reviews. I will still hit on general news like I have historically. Before I would do the general news on one specific project, I'm going to be kind of messing around with doing generalized news for kind of the entire market. So if there's big things happening in the space, but if it is with one major project, I might touch on that, but also might touch on more newsy stuff later. I'm going to try to decide how I'm going to do that, whether I do a weekly news thing, whether I do that on a more frequent basis. I'm going to try to play around with it. So if you guys want to let me know what you guys would rather see, if you'd rather see lower quality daily stuff, or would you rather see like a really good conglomerate of the week across the entire market, just let me know.
I want to see your face every day, every single day. So get the daily videos on board. That's what I want. So heading over to RJ. So RJ, different question for you, because you've actually broken out of the niche trend that you were in, and now you're more so mainstream DeFi, talking about anything and everything DeFi related, and you're kind of seeing where the views are going and what people's interests are. So different question for you. When it comes to the plethora of projects you're covering, what is the most interest you've seen, whether that's the Seifu or the drip content? Where are people gravitating towards when it comes to viewership?
So where people gravitate towards is plain and simple, right? It's where can I make the most money? And at the same time, a bonus would be, is it a project that tickles my fancy, right? Is it something that's pretty cool? And not only am I making money here, but it actually is pretty cool. And that's why, when I research projects day in and day out, I'm talking day in and day out, guys. Like, this is my professional job now, right? Is just researching products and projects all day long, researching the team, researching the white paper. The knowledge is just all in there. But when you take a look at the community, you can get a good sense of how the project enthusiasm is from their community, from the Discord. Then you do, obviously, your research there, and then you can see where people are gravitating towards. Hey, where's the majority of people on Twitter hanging out? Where's the majority of people on Discord gravitating towards? And it's always really about making money. People want to argue that it's not all about money, but that's why we're in crypto. That's why we're in DeFi, is to make money. And so I myself personally have never, and Adam knows this, right? I've never really niched or chased viewership. I created my YouTube channel so that I had a healthy outlet to talk about SafeMoon at the time, and my burning passion, my fiery passion to help others achieve financial freedom, just luckily and naturally followed the path of where I started to branch out on my YouTube channel. And so as I continued to find other projects, I continued uploading that on YouTube, and it naturally just had a natural progression of how people that were along for the ride saw the progression of my channel from SafeMoon to DeFi to passive income. And so as myself, who has a fiery passion for breaking the chains of corporate 9 to 5 and just living a passive income life, that's what I just started making videos on, right? And it just had a natural progression to where, people still ended up watching and liking, and my subscribers grew because of it. I had a stagnant flat subscriber rate there from 16,000. I was there for a long time, but again, I was never chasing subscribers or viewerships. But as soon as I broke away from kind of like SafeMoon and more into like generalized DeFi, like nodes and auto staking and DAOs, all of a sudden, my channel grew a lot, and because of that, I now have a broader reach of an audience to really educate and touch.
Awesome. Really good question. We actually got a question here from Marcus. So let me actually bring this up right here. Did Matt Wallace rug his own coin? So seeing some news on Twitter, I just kind of pulled this up. So I believe Matt Wallace created a token called Baby Lambo Inu. Am I right about that? That's his token, right? So apparently people are saying that's down a lot. Now, did he rug? I don't know. I don't follow Matt Wallace. I have no idea what he's doing and what he's about. I know the token, if I could actually pull it up to show you guys, if I can share real quick, but I know the token is down quite a bit. I'm not trying to throw shade at people. I don't know Matt Wallace. I don't talk to him. I've never had a conversation with him, but the question was asked, so we can try to investigate this together. So looking at his token here, Baby Lambo Inu, peaking at about 3 cents.
Nothing suspicious about the name, by the way.
Yeah, peaking at about 3 cents, and now we're down to, what is this, 201. So the only thing I'm going to say, same thing we all say. I mean, don't take advice from content creators. Don't take advice from people who are regular influencers in the market. And that also goes with, don't buy tokens from, people who have a platform that they can benefit off of the gains. I'm not trying to say anything when it comes to his intentions. I don't know if he's still working on it, but the question was asked, showing the charts. It's not looking great. So anyone has an opinion about this? Anyone?
Yeah, I want to touch on a couple of things. So for those people that don't know who this guy is, first off, he's a very big proponent supporter of Dogecoin. I'm like, whatever with Dogecoin. It is what it is. People support it. People don't support it. I'm more like Shiba Inu side than Dogecoin. But, Dogecoin is part of the ecosystem. It's out there and it has some utilities and stuff. People want to buy it. That's on them. But he's been known as being a very big face as an influencer showing support for Dogecoin. And I didn't know that he made his own cryptocurrency. If this is for sure his project, as far as the price action goes, that's over how long of a period of time, Moonboy? Since
This is
January?
3 months. Yeah, January till now.
Okay, well, a rug pull typically is something that you see in a flash of a moment. So what this suggests to me is just organically over time, people have kind of lost interest in it. So even though I don't care for the guy, you know, like I still support SafeMoon. I still believe in SafeMoon. That's my own point of view on it. Matt Wallace, or yeah, that's who we were talking about, right? Matt Wallace?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy, he's been very, very, very against SafeMoon, even during its best moments. And I understand things don't really look great for SafeMoon as a whole right now, but there's still things that I look forward to. And like I said, I still believe in the project. But an individual like this, just looking at the charts outside of my personal opinion of him, I don't see this as a rug pull. It just looks like people are not really interested in whatever token. I mean, the baby Lambo Inu, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Anyone else have any comments on this?
I was going to say that I think, sometimes overuse the term rug pull. We try to say slow rug, all these other crazy terms. A rug pull is when the liquidity is pulled out or something else happens in a flash instance where everything is gone and you can no longer trade and you are left as a bag holder. These situations where projects just kind of lose value over time and eventually down to the point where there's no price action on them anymore. That just is a dead project. I mean, historically, that's what we've called them. We just call them dead projects. And they happen, especially once we pull out of these crazy bull markets. When you hit these crazy bull markets, you'll see coins left and right all over the place with the craziest names, and they'll all be doing 10, 20, 30, 40 X's, and people will be making a ton of money off of them because everyone's just throwing money at anything DeFi. This has happened basically since the inception of DeFi. So that's always been a thing, but always at the end of the day, when we start hitting these kind of harsher markets, as we've been going through for the last while, a lot of these projects end up dying off. It's not that liquidity was pulled. It's not that the developers did something malicious. It's just people lose interest because there's no utility or there's nothing going on. There's no development of the project, and people would rather put their money into something else that's going to either provide some level of utility or has future potential, or they're going to pull it completely out of the market because the market's bad. So projects like that are just have a silly name and don't go anywhere. Those projects are going to be the ones that eventually lose interest and they're going to eventually bottom out. So I didn't see that as a rug pull from the charts that were shown. That just looks to me like a project that had no utility, lost interest, and it's dying. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, 100%. RJ, Adam, any thoughts there?
After you, Ed.
I don't think it's a rug pull either. It's just a stupid project, it looks like. But it is no stupider than 99% of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's so easy to make one of these things. It takes literally 1 hour. You make a token. Did you see the white paper? I'm on their website right now. You make a white paper. I mean, honestly, my nephew can write that white paper. And then if you have a little bit of a marketing budget, you get influencers to talk about it. A lot of people will talk about anything. And that's it. It blows up. And almost all the projects look like that, right?
Every single one of them.
But I don't think it's a rug pull.
Yeah,
it's just very easy to make these tokens on Binance, and I'm sure the coding for it is definitely taken from another contract. It's like copy paste. That's how SafeMoon was made. Also copy paste. This is just like 99% of these projects are copy pastes.
Yeah, 100%. RJ, any thoughts there?
No, I don't want to beat that subject. It looks like an ultra failed project, right? It's the first half of a crypto J curve where ICOs, people build hype because people somehow follow Matt Wallace. The hype dies down. We realize that this token has absolutely no utility or anything at all, and it's now just flatlining.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, probably going to be on for another 5, maybe 10 minutes. This is going to be a shorter roundtable over here because the time difference of the guys versus me, I'm an hour behind now, so it's a bit difficult for me to keep the schedule, but still having a great episode. Hope you guys do enjoy the topics thus far. And our very last token, I kind of want to talk a little bit about passive income within DeFi. And I actually didn't even ask Atlas the question about being a YouTuber and evolving his content. My bad. Atlas, want to go ahead on, so when it comes to content coverage and being a YouTuber, and I'm seeing your content transforming. perhaps doing some AMAs to developers. What are you seeing now when it comes to viewership and what people's interest is? And overall, what is the future for your channel? What is the future for your content?
Well, the fact that I'm still doing videos on SafeMoon, there is still more viewership that's there for my content than other stuff, but I've been much more proactive in covering other things. And I'll keep this short because I want you to be able to ask your last question for us here and have that topic. But basically, I'm moving in a direction where I get a lot of joy in doing sort of like a podcast, having moments like this where it's just not me talking. It's me having other people on. I have projects that I'm very passionate about and other people that are making their own projects. I think it's an incredible experience when you can have an individual from their team come on and they explain what it is that they have. You can hear more of their personality. You can hear more of their excitement. You can get a better vibe about whether or not these people seem like they're more trustworthy or not. And I'd rather let these people kind of be the voice of reason on or rather the voice of their own project than for me to be viewed as the representative on their project, right? So I really do enjoy doing that. And one thing that I'm becoming much more active in is giveaways, right? So a lot of us, we're looking at this right now and we say, hey, the market's really bad, or wow, it's a bull run. But oftentimes people are saying, I don't have money, or I don't time the market correctly. There's whitelists, there's nodes giveaway, there's token giveaways. And if you guys see me on Twitter, I have been doing that much more frequently. And that's through my talks that I'm having with these teams. And I enjoy being able to provide these things through my avenue, through my channel. And I want to keep doing more of this kind of stuff.
Awesome. Good topic. So lastly here, guys, this is going to be the last topic here and they're going to end off, but it's going to be a good one. So I want to talk about passive income in DeFi. So right now, the majority of DeFi, not all projects, is built on Ponzi-nomics. I'm not calling it a Ponzi scheme. I'm talking about you need new money to come in to keep the flow of rewards going. Every single node is like that. For early node creators to keep getting node payouts, you need more nodes to consistently be created. So as of right now, DeFi is, most of it, not all of it, there's some really good products out there, are built on the idea of Ponzi-nomics. I want to go to I want to go to Atlas first. So Atlas, I'll just kind of mix it up here. Talk to me about how can people find true passive income? How are these products going to get away from the need of new money coming in? Is there a way for these projects to have a more sustainable model? What kind of utility can be in place to help that? And the volume doesn't need to be as important anymore.
So you kind of answered your own question. What they need is utility. This whole idea of having new money come back in and then everything's just sort of kicking the can down the road. At some point, you need to be able to use this. Remember, traditionally when we use money, it's for products or services. It's not necessarily just to invest and wait and hold for it to be able to grow. You need to find some sort of utility. One of the most common things that we're seeing is the metaverse, people getting in and expanding out into that market space. So building out your own video game. I mean, we're in a generation where there's tons of gamers on your phone, consoles, your computer. Like there's lots of avenues that people are getting involved in this. And we're even evolving with that in itself. Think about augmented reality, Pokemon Go, right? You take your phone and now you've got video game stuff that's kind of interacting with the real world. So that's an easy avenue to go through. But because there are so many crypto projects out there, I think that what this approach is kind of happening is they say, man, I want to get in on this, but we don't have utility yet. So how can we get people in right now, today, in this kind of field while this market is hot, but allow us to be able to sustain long enough to where we can build out those utilities, right? Because we don't know which markets are going to be hot for when and how long and such. And if you have capital that's flowed in and it's sitting inside of a marketing fund, you've secured that bag. Then as things adjust, well, you're a little bit more of in a leisure position where if your protocol starts to have some issues, you can be like, look, guys, we're going to adjust some things, but we have this treasury as a company. We could still be able to use it on a fork that we create, right? Something like that. I think those are elements that come into play. But the utilities, it's a case-by-case basis depending on what the project's end goal is. And the easiest thing that we're seeing emerge is stuff involving the metaverse.
Very, very good answer. And I actually do agree as well. You know, you need to tap into that whole gamified section of things because that's a whole market that's worth trillions of dollars right now that is outside of crypto, that if crypto can tap into, that's going to be money that you can acquire that doesn't need to be new money coming in for sustainability. So going over to RJ. So RJ, how can these projects get away from Ponzi-nomics, and what does true passive income in DeFi look like?
How do these projects get away from Ponzi-nomics? I think we're starting to see that in newer and newer projects, right? Especially those that have intentions of trying to be here for a long time. For example, one is we see Chronos nodes trying to do a whole bunch of different things to make sure that they are sustainable for the long run. And the most interesting part, and I might divert a little bit off the topic a little bit here because I ADD a lot and this has been on my mind, is what I love about investing and what I love about the round table is everyone's unique sense of investing, right? So when we're talking about investing in general, let's say we're just talking about equities. Adam knows this. If we're investors in equities, what kind of investor are you? Adam could be in options. People could be in futures. I could be an intraday day trader. You could be a long-term trader, right? The styles differ from every single one of us. And I love hearing people's perspectives. Like Adam is really into Algorand and he's into, now you can see his evolution of, you know, going into more DeFi, but like a different style of DeFi that solves real world problems, as opposed to someone like, people here that are just like, hey, you know what? If it's a game and I can make money off of it, I'm down for it, right? The style of investing is really unique for me. Now, with that being said, I think in order to address sustainability, they need to have the math on their side completely worked out. For example, I haven't spoken about it yet today. Seifu, if you read their white paper and how they're addressing sustainability, does Seifu right now have a utility? No, but neither does Bitcoin, right? It's just a store of value. I don't think anyone really cares if you're making an ish ton of money in Seifu in the long run. So, but they've addressed what seems like right now they haven't really been put to the test yet. They've addressed the 2.28% daily sustainability. And how do they do that? Well, I don't want to go too far into it, but read their white paper. They in my honest opinion, they've may have solved it. And that's why they have this 1-year test run to see if they can build a fat enough liquidity to make sure they can handle these sell-offs in the end when people are making astronomical amounts of money. And so I know I've diverted too far from the question, but sustainability will be addressed by projects that are really serious and they're in it for the long run, and they have their math on their side worked out and vetted pretty hard. It's all in the math, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Chronos Node project, they do have some very interesting things. I'm plugged in completely when it comes to what they're trying to do. If there's ever a project on paper that I think can do it, they have a good chance. So I'm very excited for that launch. No data as of yet, but I'm looking out for them. So going over to Adam with the very same question. Ponzi-nomics, passive income. Everyone wants to make money every single day. $50, $100 off of these 1 to 3% daily plays. We know that most likely that's not going to be sustainable, but what is your ideas when it comes to how can projects give themselves sustainability to keep the passive income going and to keep these plays long-term for investors?
So eventually they got to have an outside source of money coming in. That's how I feel. Not just the money coming in from people buying, but it goes a lot further than just passive plays. It goes further than, nodes and drip and whatever. It goes towards every single reflection token there is. If they can't, I don't think people realize, if they can't, and I'm putting everybody in the same thing, get actual utility where there's actually money coming into the project, it's not sustainable. It just is not, you know? So I think every project, doesn't matter what your niche is, you need to have an availability for money coming in besides for just one person buys, one person sells. So like an actual ecosystem of something. And I don't want to bring this up, but that's why I'm bringing up Affinity, because they charge more money on Adapt, but that 0.75 instead of 0.25, that could be the answer to the question that I'm saying right now, like to the solution to it. So I just feel like all these projects need to come up with a way to bring in from CFI, like a central finance type of way, money coming in. Whatever that means, I don't know, but that's what needs to happen in the long run.
For sure, yeah. Every single project needs to look at after that initial hype. How are you going to keep the train going to be around for the better part of the next 1 to 3 to 5 to 10 years to the eventual beyond 15, 20, right? So going over to generation. So different question completely for you. Not the
Okay.
same, right? I'm going to mix it up, my boy. If you were to start a project, in which trend would you start that project in, and how would you implement sustainability within that project?
So I'm going to cheat a little bit on this question. I would bring utility first before I even begin a project. So if I was to start a project today, it's not going to be I'm gonna have a new take on nodes. I'm gonna have a new take on passive income. I'm gonna have a new take on this, and then hope that I get a following, and then hope that I can take that into something and build partnerships down the road. What I ideally would want to do is I would want to look across the network broadly, whether you're in DeFi or you're in the real world, and say, how can I ease a pain? How can I make something better? What can I do to make something work in a way that's going to benefit people in the long run with what I can provide people? It doesn't mean I reinvent the wheel and I come up with something crazy that's never been done before, but I can look at what's already going on in the space and say, man, these bridges aren't that great. There's a lot of vulnerabilities, as we saw with the hack today. Maybe I could build a bridge in a way that brings a lot more security and a lot more ease of access. And if I'm able to code a way or program a way to do that, now I can build a project around that. Okay, I found a way to make bridges way more secure and easier to use. Now I need a methodology of giving value to this technology that I'm going to provide, and I'm going to create a token. And then if that token grows, it could become a coin down the road with its own blockchain if that utility continues to grow down the road. That's just one example. Obviously, you can come up with many other utility use cases that you can come up with and problems that you can solve, whether it's directly crypto related or it can be real world related. I mean, there's a lot of real world issues that can be solved with crypto. We've talked about them in the past, like with insurance. There's these other pain points that people could come up with. So if I was able to create a service or an item that would help people alleviate an issue or a problem they have, or alleviate it better than the current options, I would then create an idea how to solve that and build a project around that. So when I go at launch, it's not a matter of, hey, buy this token because I'm going to have some sort of really cool way to earn passive income. It's, hey, I already provide a utility and a service, and as an extra incentive, I'm going to make it a node project. Or as an extra incentive, there's going to be a reflectionary model involved to bring those people who want to come in, be a part of that, but then they can stick around and figure out the utility that we can provide people. And that would add, of course, value over the long term. Because in reality, the projects that start off with simply the hype train of they offer, as you called it, Ponzi-nomics or some sort of way to entice people to come in the project, 99.9 of those projects are going to die. They're never going to survive in the long term because they have to provide a real utility. Now, there are lots of projects out there that started off as jokes or started off with no real world utility that are now building great utility. And they're going to, in my opinion, be very successful in the future, but they're very, very far and few in between. So you've got to bring the utility first.
100%. You guys gave great answers. If I were to add to that, very same thing I'm gonna echo you guys said. Just we need the utility to come into play, and I feel like when you want to launch a project, that should be something that is thought about first. RJ, jump in.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I just add into it after you say your thought.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that probably should have been written down on paper, just like what Generation said. Before even starting the project, you want to have a model to where the math makes sense. What do the numbers look like when you get to the eventual 100,000 holders, 500K, a million holders, and those holders have to get paid out X% per day? How is that going to be sustained, and how do you combat sell pressure? Because at the end of it all, the beginning is forever great. No matter what project you jump into, those first initial couple of days to a week, incredible. the sell pressure always supersedes any new buyers coming in because people will get those rewards and there's no other outside money coming in. So a way to do it, you know, if you want to go to Atlas when it comes to the metaverse, gamify, or perhaps generation, when you talk about maybe implementing some type of insurance plan, you know, there has to be a way for the product to evolve and move forward to bring longevity into the space. RJ, jump in.
Yeah, I think we all get it, right? There has to be more money coming in than the sell pressure. So I wanted to ask you, because you are very bullish on Strong Block as well. How bullish are you now that Strong Block chain, the Strong chain, is coming out and they minted the new tokens today and we're getting ready to launch the new one?
So I'll be very quick here. I think Strong is one of the first movers in this space that's actually going to solve sustainability. They've done what needs to be done, which is moving away from awarding the native token, which is Strong, and they're bringing out a new token called Stronger. So the sell pressure we now see, there's over 400,000 nodes on Strong. That's 400,000 nodes getting paid out 0.1 Strong every single day. People are selling, people are dumping. People like myself want to take that money to put into other projects. It's going to keep the price of that token down tremendously. Now imagine a world where every single one of those nodes, all 400K nodes, no longer get Strong token rewards. It's a new token. The Strong token price, the Strong token sell pressure literally dissolves. The only sell pressure you have is if you want to hold it and sell it in the future. No one's going to be rewarded in Strong anymore. So for me, that alone, in my mind, boom, massive price increase. It has to be because you need the Strong token to still make the node, but the node doesn't pay you out in Strong, it pays you out in the new token called Stronger. That alone solves a lot of issues when it comes to sell pressure. Now, the whole Strong chain, bring out your own blockchain. They talked about the fact that they have projects that already are waiting to build on their blockchain. They talk to people about what they want to do, what they want to bring to the space, transaction speed, bringing the infrastructure of DeFi and helping blockchain technology to further advance when it comes to speed, transactions, helping validators. They want to go into a space that's going to evolve DeFi further. And people are taking note. People are not looking at them and, you know, laughing or, you know, people are taking them very seriously. So I see what Strong's doing. Thus far, they're doing what they need to do to help current issues. We launch, great idea. We need to evolve. We need to adapt. How do we do it? They look like they're getting it done. They do. We have an AMA coming up, I believe is next week. Our first AMA in about a week, and I'm going to be hopping in on that, listen to the details. And it looks like within April, we're going to switch rewards from the Strong token to the Stronger token. And that right there is going to kill the immediate sell pressure. So bro, like, you know me, I'm bullish. Like I want to buy more, but I still want to add to my blue chip bags, but I need more notes. I really
Moon Boy is so bullish. He sold off all his furniture. You see that lamp in there? That's all he has left in that chair. That is the only two things.
Desk. I got this. Like, I'm poor.
But he's strong, rich. No, rich and strong.
I mean, I agree, man. I'll just piggyback on it because David Moss and his team, who was a part of EOS and Block One, and now they're going to implement what they've learned from those blockchains onto Strong Chain. Bullish.
Bullish, man. And guys, that's going to be the end of the crypto DeFi roundtable. Very short one for this week. Oh, Adam, jump in. Go ahead. What's up?
I was just going to say, so Moonboy, you were asking me about Algorand. Remember I said that I'm actually talking to the guy that created that language, like a Solidity, but a lot better?
Yep.
6 o'clock, April 11th, on my channel, AMA with him live. So if you're interested, bro, that's what I'm trying to say. That's access to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's access to he's like one of the highest people, like an independent developer who got a grant from Algorand to make these things. Like, Algorand funded it for him, right? As an independent. Anyways, he's going to come on my channel. I would like to say I'm going to destroy him with questions, but this guy is really smart. Honestly, a lot of knowledge is going to come out there if you guys want to join.
I am very interested in that.
Be watching, because I also have a position in Algorand as well. I have it for forever. So
Yeah, and
Cool.
this is a top 50 cryptocurrency. This isn't like a outside of top 300 for a developer of that caliber with that kind of project in the billions of market cap to talk to a YouTuber who, I mean, we're all relatively small. We're all, except RJ, under 20K subs. It does show transparency, humility. He's willing to talk to people, to educate people on a one-to-one basis. I love that. So I'm for sure going to be there, and I do need to check that out, because if I hear what I want to hear, then I might just completely flip bullish and start dumping a whole bunch of Algorand. So for sure, going to check it out. But guys, this was a very good, very fast, but very informative roundtable overall. Going to go to everyone and give their outros. RJ?
As always, man, where we 16 episodes in. Yeah, I always still love hearing everyone's unique styles of investing. I still love hearing everyone's unique style of input, and not only the market conditions, but on the different projects, the hundreds and thousands of projects we have here. And then all of a sudden you get niched down to 1 or 2 or 3 projects. I think, I try to tell everyone this behind closed doors, right? We got a lot of flack in the beginning for stepping away from a certain project, but in my eyes, in my true eyes, we are a very intelligent collective group. And so when this collective group has been able to hone in on a specific project, whether that's 1 or 2 projects out of the hundreds of thousands in the sea of DeFi worlds, I think that should instill some confidence in some of our viewers that we have vetted these projects ourselves, right? And that I don't think anyone in here is what I call DeFi mercenaries that shills just for the fun of shilling, right? When we announce projects, it's probably and most likely because we believe in the project and that we have done our research and the legwork ourselves. So take comfort in the fact that when we talk about projects, whether that's Generation, whether that's Moonboy, whether that's Atlas, whether that's Bergman, we've all done our research, and it's projects that we actually like and are invested in ourselves. So I love hanging out with these guys. Thank you so much to everyone that has tuned in and hung out with us. You guys have always been a blast.
Awesome. Appreciate you, RJ. Generation, what's up? Your outro?
Just wanted to say the same thing as RJ was basically saying. I appreciate every single time having this opportunity to sit down with these gentlemen and talk. I mean, they're all great minds. And like RJ said, every single one of you guys brings a very interesting and unique taste and kind of concept that you bring to the table in your viewpoints and the projects that you guys talk about. I learn a lot from each of you guys, whether it's here on the roundtable or whether it's in our own Discord chats or whatever. So I appreciate you guys in bringing me extra knowledge and information. And I appreciate you guys that are listening in on this, that you're willing to sit here with us for an hour, 2 hours every single week and listen to us talk about the things that we're passionate about, and for your guys' engagement on our individual content, as well as when you come together on these roundtables. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you always being a part of this. Hopping over to the Brooklyn Beast. Adam, what's up, man? Your outro?
Yeah, man, I had a great time. Thank you so much. And yeah, I get it. Some people might be a little tight about the topics. That's cool. Just I wanted to say, at least for my little group within the group, everybody in the wolf pack be making money. Not financial advice. I'm just saying. So we chase money plays. That's all I want to say.
And that's what it's about, for sure. Yeah, I do see some people who are wanting specific topics about, let's say, SafeMoon. There's a bunch of SafeMoon content out there. There's so much SafeMoon content out there. We do want to add more and not just niche ourselves in one specific token, one specific topic every single week. There's only so much elaboration we can do on the very same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. If this was a SafeMoon specific podcast, you would hear the very same answers, just different questions. It really wouldn't be new additional substance. So until we get to the point now where we can see new information from SafeMoon, we do want to change things up, and we do want to add further value to people's knowledge and just try to help overall when it comes to the space of crypto DeFi. Bring more details when it comes to the YouTube content creators, and just go that route. So finishing off with Crypto Atlas, what's up, man? Your outro.
Hey, you know what? I'll throw in just a little something, because like I made it perfectly clear, I still believe in the team and everything. This whole 32 meme, if you guys want my opinion on that, those of you guys that are still supporting SafeMoon and wondering, I mean, think about it. 8-hour time difference for things. March 32nd could still be March 31st for some people. And this whole countdown that's going on with Mr. Adult, my suspicion, maybe we'll find out something on March 31st for a launch. I don't know if it'll be news, product announcement, dropping something, but I like going down the rabbit holes myself. And there you go. There's your little Safe Moon insert for that. Other than that, though, guys, I actually have a roundtable with a group of developers that will be tomorrow. And it'll be right around the same time as we normally do these, which is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to come and tune in and hear from some absolutely incredible individuals and them discussing about their own individual projects and stuff, we'll have a group of people there. I would love it if you guys come and hang out and kind of give yourself an opportunity to hear it straight from their mouths. So thank you so much, Moonboy, for having me on again. I love hanging out with you guys. I appreciate everyone for tuning in this live stream. You should definitely show some love and drop Moonboy a subscription here. He does a lot of great content, a very intelligent individual. And I say that about everyone, but Moonboy is hosting this week. You guys are on his channel, and I love hearing your point of view on things, Moonboy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Alice. I really appreciate the good feedback right there. So overall, guys, thank you so much for being
Hold on. RJ just sent you a tip. Our man RJ
sent me a tip.
Different RJ. Look at the chat. That's my boy from Japan.
Okay. Hey, shout out to okay, RJ, what's up? I appreciate the $20 donation. Sorry, I almost just missed that. My bad. Not you, RJ, this RJ. So I'm back with Missing in Action. Mad respect for all of you, and keep delivering your style as I watch all. So I appreciate that. We all do have our very own unique styles when it comes to coverage and content, our opinions, and how we deliver it. But at the end of it all, nothing but love, nothing but positivity, nothing but information, nothing but opinion, trying to educate ourselves. We're still learning. We're still in the space, figuring out how to navigate crypto, how to navigate DeFi. And along the journey, we have the privilege to cover what we're finding. And we just hope you guys can enjoy those points and topics we continue to bring to you guys. But shout out to RJ for the donation. I do appreciate that. Thank you all so much for being part of the 16th episode of the Crypto Roundtable. And we will see you all next week. Peace out.
Take care.